Welcome, everyone. This is the Jenkins UX Special Interest Group. Thanks for joining. It's the 15th of January, 2025. Today's topics: Jenkins releases, GSOC per project proposals, Yahoo UI removal. Those all, I think, fairly quick. Jenkins Design Library. Jan, I wanted to be sure we give you some time to share more about your blog post and what's happening there. And then I gathered some things on recent UI topics. Content security policy, if we have time at the end, I put it there, Bruno, in case you want to share a report. Anything else that needs to be discussed here today?
Yeah, we've got a few work in progress things to show.
Oh, good.
Should
All
be
right.
volunteering yarn to.
Several work in progress items.
We've
Okay,
got
that's
the new run page and potential new heading, or the potential new header.
Yeah, like nav bar thing.
okay, good. All right. So do we want to shift that all the way to the top so that is that the for me that's a very interesting one. We could put that high on the list, or do you want to get through these other things first and then we dedicate ourselves to those topics?
Probably better to do
Yeah,
them sooner, I think, because in case
yeah,
anyone has to leave, it's probably more
Good.
valuable.
All right, so then what I'm going to do is I'm going to move recent UI topics right to the top, and we'll take that. Good. Okay, very good. Anything else we need to add? All right, then let's go ahead right away to work in progress items. So Jan, if you want to share your screen, or Tim,
sure.
what's your preference?
Yep, I'll just share it. Hopefully you can see that.
Yes.
Cool. You see my screen?
No.
Not
Nope.
yet. Try
Okay.
again. I think
Um, grand.
there, now we do.
Yeah. Hopefully. Yeah, so you should see a Safari window. Um,
Right.
yep. Let's just allow Zoom to do what it likes. Great. So we've been working recently on kind of revamping the kind of job page. Or the build page more accurately. And so we've been doing some work um, kind of based on the redesign that we demoed. We've been demoing for the last couple of years, really. And I'll just bring that up quickly, just to sort of refresher. Yeah, so this was the kind of prototypes slash redesign that we've been working on for a bit. We've demoed this a fair few times now, and we're looking at bringing some of these changes to core. Um, and these are all kind of quite experimental right now, so we want to get some kind of feedback from users on these. We've recently got this kind of little console output merged in. So if you're on the latest weekly, you're signed in, there's an experimental flag that you can check just to enable that. And that will look like so. Um, We're now working on bringing the details pane from the kind of prototype to core as well. And as part of that, we're building out like a new extensible kind of API to handle that. So core developers and plugin developers alike can hook into this little card and display information, basically. Um, so this is running on the GitHub branch source plugin right now. And what we've done is we've hooked into this kind of new API. And kind of based on we're currently in a pull request, right? So we're now showing information about that pull request kind of directly in Jenkins. So kind of similar to how Blue Ocean did it, we're showing the kind of pull request title, the commit, and then also a kind of handy link to the repo. Just making it kind of clearer that this job is tied to kind of that PR. If I open up a branch, so we have add cheese, you'll see the same thing, but slightly tweaked. So we now have our branch name, kind of same commit, and a link, and it's working all right. we've had a few comments that Tim and I have just been kind of hashing out in the last hour. But it seems to be going all right. So hopefully we can get this in fairly soon and try and get some feedback on it. That was a bit of a ramble. Does anyone have any questions or anything?
Yeah, so the idea is, will it be available under is it already under an experimental flag, or will it be available for some period under the experimental flag? How are you envisioning the rollout?
Yep. So this entire page is under the flag right
Okay.
now. And we want to do this for kind of more pages in the future, just so we can make kind of more drastic, kind of iterative changes, more experimental stuff that doesn't actually impact users unless they kind of explicitly want to. So
Yeah. We thought that doing these one at a time would be a bit disruptive to the page. It would just look a bit odd, or just like things like you say, we don't have things like who triggered a build and that sort of thing and how that's done. 'Cause we want to kind of build that stuff up, and if doing it all at once, it just seemed like doing it all at once would just be too big and like one big change, and building it up wouldn't be a great user experience potentially. Yes, so we're putting this out there for feedback and to allow us to do it incrementally.
I like that. Okay, and you said that plugins can contribute to the details page. So they could say, I want to add coverage information, to use one example, or I want to add test result summary, or some other thing, or count of flakes in the last 5 builds, whatever, those
Mm.
kinds of things.
Yeah, so not yet. So details is just that card on the top right.
Okay.
So yes, definitely, but we need to think about how that works. So it doesn't go too crazy. This will be a mixture of predefined cards, and potentially some can be added, or potentially some other method like plugins can add tabs or something. But before that's opened up, we need to think about it. But details is open for contributing to, again, within reason. We can't fit too many there.
Okay, I guess that was the other, was how do we avoid the left-hand side panel that Mark Waite has today that requires scrolling 2 or 3 times in order to see the whole thing, right? So you're obviously thinking about that. How do we
Yeah.
prevent too much being inserted into this panel unnecessarily?
So yeah, part of that is before flipping the feature flag, is making sure that is figured out.
We'll also have some like clear guidance as well on like the design library, for example, just to say when to add something and when not to.
Thanks very much. This looks pretty, and I saw an earlier that you were showing 2 cards side by side, so that it's allowed in the layout to have multiple cards on this page. That's the concept?
Yeah. Not sure on like the final layout yet, but maybe something closer to this, maybe something more organized. Just trying to find a way to actually have a good kind of default for users, but also have. And the issue is plugins can chuck what they like on there, right? So
Right.
can we think of a good way of letting plugins be extensible, but also not disruptive, right? So we'll
Yeah,
see.
like
But I think
looking at like that one there, like those cards are probably taking up too much space as well. So
yeah.
it's figuring that out.
Right. Okay. So when you say too much space, things like the fact that ESLint gives me one Boolean flag is what it's presenting, right? It's a true false that it's showing me right now, and even the test results is mostly showing true false for me as a consumer. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, just think about but I think it's a journey that has begun.
Yeah. Any other questions or anything? If not, I'll jump onto the navigation stuff. All right. Let me just switch branch. So for some background on this as well, we were looking at the kind of primary navigation bar on Jenkins. If I just bring up ci.jenkins. So this kind of horizontal black bar, basically. Looking at ways like, can we make it more useful? Could we make it less invasive? Those kind of sort of questions around it. The prototype that we've been kind of demoing moved it to this kind of left-hand pane on the left. Oh, blimey. And that's working all right, but there were some issues raised around, like say branding, like there's not necessarily much space to actually advertise the fact that, hey, this is Jenkins, right? If I open up a random job, there's nothing really here telling you that this is Jenkins, right? It's just a generic UI, right? And then there were issues around, so I think Cloud VCI, correct me if I'm wrong, kind of override the header themselves completely. To then need to sort of balance how that works with this. So wanted to test, just give this a refresh. Nope. Wanted to try out like a new top navigation bar. Freestyle. Let me just sign in quickly. And in true demo fashion, that's not supposed to be there. Yeah. So wanted to try out a new kind of header style / navigation style. And what this one does in comparison to the old kind of style that we have is it kind of merges the navigation with the breadcrumb bar. So you're kind of saving a fair chunk of kind of vertical real estate. And we're also offering kind of top level actions the first time. So previously, if you wanted to access manage Jenkins, you'd have to go back to the kind of dashboard. There'll be a link on the left side for you to access that. Same as design library, same as like the beer plugin, stuff like that. Those kind of actions are now situated in this navigation bar. So they're kind of always accessible no matter what page you're on. So as I kind of flick through these, they're persistent. And as I kind of scroll down as well, that bar stays in place. So kind of improves on what we've got currently by kind of reducing real estate, but also offering kind of more actions as well. If I hover over like the user profile, it shows me like kind of important actions that pertain to that item. And other buttons on this kind of navigation bar could do the same theoretically. And yeah, that's it. Don't have any thoughts on this.
So I see that design library is there, so that must mean it's plugin extensible. So the
Yeah.
idea is plugins can add things to that
Mhm.
bar, and then so the user icon, that's roughly the same as what we've got for the user today.
Yep.
The gear icon, that's the manage Jenkins link. Is that
Mhm.
right? Okay.
Yep.
I like this. Now we've got some folks who deeply enjoy their customizable header. Damien DePorto just deployed one right on ci.jenkins.io. Is there a facility to, if that left-hand branding wants to be adjusted, is that still adjustable in this environment?
Yeah. I definitely think so.
Yeah, it'll
In this,
use the same like building blocks that the other one does, how everything's like logo, search bar,
Okay.
all that sort of thing. So they can just replace logo and yeah, I think that should work. But before this is open as a PR, we need to test it with customizable header, and if there's changes needed, make changes. But I think
Yeah.
because it got changed to use tag libs, I think it's a lot more maintainable now, because previously it kept copies of it, but now there's core tag libs that it can reuse, so it should be a lot more maintainable. I mean, Cloudbees will probably they'll have to rebase
Sure.
their stuff probably.
Sure, of course, right, and that's a complication that will have to be adapted to, right? Anybody who's done major customization of this will be affected, right? And it's a good to do a heads up. Yes, it's going to have an impact. Okay, this looks great. Any comments from others? I could see using this and feeling very comfortable. All right, thanks, Jan. Anything else that you wanted
Cheers.
to highlight for us?
Nothing right now.
So
All
the
good.
symbol functionality in IntelliJ has been released. If you want to show
Oh,
that.
yeah.
good.
Yeah, this is my new favorite thing. Just go to manage.
Okay, so
Extension, I think.
Dennis released the symbols work.
Yeah.
I released it, yeah.
Oh, you did. Okay, great.
So yeah, it's always a massive pain to kind of remember these symbols. So yeah, if you're using the latest IntelliJ plugin, you now get suggestions. And yeah, it makes life a lot easier. So I'm really happy.
Yeah. And if you're in a plugin that's got a dependency to Ionicons or something, then
Yeah. So if
Oh, then
I
it will also include the ion icons. That because you had the dependency, it will include them in the candidate list.
yeah, so you'll see we've got like icons from I'm guessing core there. We have and then we then have the icons one, and then we also have if your plugin itself has specific symbols like Design Library does, they'll pop up like so. Yeah. It's cool. If you do like a spelling mistake, it'll tell you you've made a mistake, but also completely over the top, but I was bored. It'll
That's
find
fun.
like the closest match. So you put Asda, maybe you meant add, and yeah, I'll just replace it. Yeah, it's funky.
and
Oh,
then
that's
potentially in the future displaying the icon as well. I think
Yeah.
Jan had that working using some internal APIs of IntelliJ. Maybe there's a way of doing that without getting the big do not use internal API thing.
Oh, that's phenomenal. Thank you. As someone who just barely added a new icon or replaced an icon in a plugin, I thank you. I had to go searching and wondering, okay, which icon should I use and how? And so thank you very much, Jan. That's great.
Cool. Sweet. I'll stop sharing.
All right. Okay, let's see. Other topics we have. Okay, and am I sharing the right? I'm sharing the right screen, right? It's my, you see the notes. Oh, let's
Yeah.
make it bigger text. Okay. All right. So there were I had active work in progress. We talked about these. The support GZ content viewing, I assume still needs the extension point, low priority.
Mm-hmm.
We had several that had been on the list before that are now all merged. Are
Mm-hmm.
there, and Azure VM Agents has released and merged with the autocomplete feature as far as I know. Tim, am I correct there?
Yep, that's all done and working.
Okay, and yeah, let's put these notes up earlier because thanks very much. All right. Okay.
So yeah,
Any
Symbols is released. The autocomplete stuff. Dennis didn't like how much it was replacing the IntelliJ existing functionality, so it's another look to see if it can be tied in. Shame though, because it works a lot better than the existing one.
All right. Okay, cool. Thank you. Anything else you want to highlight on recent UI topics? Now, I know we've got Contributor Summit coming and we've got a specific track dedicated to user experience SIG. Tim, I don't remember if I asked, oh, actually, I needed to ask, Jan, are you willing to be the leader of that track? It'll be a 1 hour block
Mhm.
during and people interested in UX will gather as a group during that workshop period. Then you'll be expected to present a 5 minute or less summary of the results of your 1 hour block at the end of the session.
Yeah, no, more than happy to.
Okay, great. And Bruno, maybe you had already asked, but I
No.
thank you for saying yes. Great. All right. Anything else on recent topics?
I think Yahoo UI removal was released in the latest weekly,
It
wasn't it?
was. That's a major one, and we should certainly put that high on the list. So, and Tim, did I get the number right? Is it 50K plus lines? What was the
80,000, I
Oh,
think.
yes. Oh, yes. Okay, so 80K lines deleted, and thanks profoundly for that. What an amazing outcome. Just that final PR, seeing several different voices all chiming in, saying, "Hey, like here's this, here's this." Great work. Thank you, thank you. Anything that you want to highlight on the Yahoo UI removal? Anything that, hey, let's do this, let's do that.
85,000 lines.
80. Oh, that's great. That is awesome. That is awesome. All right.
No, yeah, it's great to get rid of that. The UI is looking a lot better, and just so much stuff was built using it, and there's
Right.
so much just weird stuff, and just wasn't very nice to work with.
Exactly.
So it's really good.
So Jan, I'd propose we take Design Library 3 as our next topic. Are you willing to, and I'll just, I'm going to show your blog post here.
Sure.
Do you want to give us a brief overview, and I can scroll if you'd like. I can open up weekly, whatever you'd like me to do.
Yeah, go for it. So yeah, I mean, this work started off as just a small kind of update and kind of spiraled as these things tend to do. But I mean, the design library at this point is, I don't know, 2 or 3 years old. It's had quite a lot of updates, but it needed a bit of love. Like different pages are doing different things differently, right? Not every page has been updated from the original UI samples repo, right? And so those start like inconsistencies were starting to creep in, like cobwebs were starting to appear, right? Um, and yeah, like you highlighted, we also had lots of examples at this point, which is great, but it makes it harder to actually navigate, right? Um, so yeah, design library kind of free kind of categorizes the samples. So you have components and patterns. Could definitely see us getting more categories in the future, like how to integrate with core or something like that for plugin developers. Um, every sample has been updated. So if you hop on to the library, like literally like every page has been touched in some manner, right? They've all been cleaned up. They've been kind of made consistent in how they look and feel. So like take a look at like I don't know, the buttons page or something. Previously there was like a lot of waffle before you actually got to any samples. Now that kind of waffle is integrated hopefully nicely with them. Stuff like, I don't know, notifications, I think. Previously they were all kind of docked together in one big kind of super sample, which is fine, but splitting them out makes it easier to kind of navigate and see. You can kind of execute the JavaScript in line, which is cool. I mean, stuff like dialogues as well have been improved. You now get like a visual preview of the dialogue before you actually try and use it, which is nice. Gosh, what else? Stuff like the spacing page as well.
Okay, this one I was thoroughly impressed. I've got to show spacing. All right, so where the spacing is there? Okay.
Yeah, it's in the patterns, yeah.
So padding, I want 6. Oh no, margin, I want only the left, and I like 6 because that's how it should be done.
Yeah, the spacing is off on the drop down, Jan.
That's it.
If you open them, like it's touching the edge.
That's the browser. It's fine in Safari.
So you're suggesting I should switch from a Windows machine to Mac OS? Jan, I'm sorry, that's not. I wish I could say that was happening, but that's not happening. So
But
I
yeah,
mean, I'm just having a look if it's fine on Chrome, if it's a Chrome Mac as well.
yeah.
It's fine on
wanted
Chrome. It's fine on Mac on Chrome. It's probably a Windows thing, not a Safari thing. So on Mac, I've got a tick next. If you expand that, there's a tick next to the one that's currently selected. So like if you click margin,
Margin, okay.
yeah. So on Mac, there's a tick that's next to margin, which is taking up the space, so it's nicely aligned. But on Windows, it looks like you don't have that tick.
So there's like a check that says which one is selected.
Yeah, I'll take a screenshot.
Oh,
See
okay,
if I can
interesting.
paste it into the. See if pasting here works. There we go. Yeah, so that's what it looks like to me on Mac. It looks absolutely fine because it's got.
Oh, okay, got it. So let's see, and can others see I dragged the chat in, so I see. Okay, so I've selected this and you get a visual cue of that on Mac OS, whereas I don't on my, at least the version of Chrome I'm running at the moment doesn't. I think it's modern.
Yeah, I'm sure it is. Probably a Windows thing.
Yeah. But yeah, I wanted more interactive samples, just to make it a bit funner, really. And yeah, what else is there? There's the edit this page link, kind of right at the bottom, just to kind of
Right.
encourage people to contribute. If you see like a word is misspelt, right, you're just a few clicks away from fixing that,
Fix
which
it,
is neat.
right?
Yeah.
Except that most of the words are in properties files. But yeah, dialogues I think has been rewritten quite a bit.
Yeah. Um, and yeah, not every sample I'm talking about. Some samples now tell you what version of Jenkins they're available in.
You
So
go to the top of the page.
So now,
Yeah.
okay. I was trying to decode. I read the text that it was like that. I just trying to decode where. So that is the
Mhm.
hint. Okay, but that's not going to be not going to be displayed to the users. That's for my consumption here in design library and guiding
Yeah.
me as a developer. Okay.
Mhm.
Yeah.
So you've got, I think, dialogues, cards,
I think menu as well.
menu,
Right.
yeah.
Okay. Look, so 2479.1. So this one's brand new. Nice.
Yeah, and it'll be weekly, and then someone needs to change it to LTS once it arrives in an LTS.
Oh, that's great. Okay.
I assume is it automatically changing between changelog stable and changelog, depending on how many
It
numbers,
isn't.
or is it always
It's not
linking to
doing anything
changelogs?
fancy.
It's always
Yeah.
going to. Okay, so that's not going to work when we have a weekly one.
Yeah.
There's a very. I think we talked about fixing it in Jenkins.io, but it's really annoying that there's two different URLs. Changelog should just work for both. And we can probably just make it so that changelog always works. So whatever version you
Yeah.
put in, changelog should find the right version. It's
Right.
it's
Yeah.
annoying for linking externally, and we've had the same problem with like the Docker release notes and the Jenkins release notes.
Good. All right.
Like,
Anything else you want to highlight here, Jan?
And I think that's it. Yeah, it's a big release, and hopefully it makes developers' lives easier,
I mean,
really.
I think the homepage got a bit of a refresh.
Yeah. Also, we have the version number. I think that was maybe one of the student contributors contributed that. And yeah, it's really cool to see. So cheers.
That's great. Very nice. Very, very nice. Thank you. All right. Anything else we should show here on Design Library?
Copied.
All right. Okay. Thank you. Thanks very much. Let's see others. So key topics for me, we've got Jenkins releases that, all right, weekly just came out with no Yahoo UI, right? And LTS came out. The next baseline is coming in early February. And Jeremy Playout will lead that with me coaching. So no questions, I assume, on Jenkins releases. GSOC has been announced. All right, they were about a month late on getting the announcement out, but Google Summer of Code has been announced. Chris Stern and Bruno Verachten are still happily looking for project ideas and for mentors. So thanks very much. Chris or Bruno, do either of you want to make any specific comments there?
Yeah, maybe a
go
bit.
ahead.
Okay, yeah. So we have currently 9 project ideas in total. So 5 of them are accepted and 4 are in draft form. So we welcome new ideas as well if we do have new mentors who has the knowledge and skills and also the capacity to mentor. And I think we haven't really kickstarted like any the actual like preparation for the contributor applications yet, because we have to first complete the application for Orgamin to get ourselves like accepted as a mentoring organ. So that will need to be done sometime. I think it's like they delayed it this year, so it's gonna happen starting late February, I think. Oh no, hang on. Late January, yeah. And it's gonna like end in February, I think, sometime February. And we won't know until afterwards whether we will be accepted. So not we're gonna like not do too much until then, I think. But according to Lisa, we're gonna organize some meetings to kind of describe kind of tell like let the interested contributors or interested GSR applicants know what we have on offer and to introduce the mentors to the public too. Bruno, anything you want to add?
No, you summed it perfectly.
Okay, thanks.
Great. All right. So still looking for mentors, and we're continuing the pattern, right? That we won't submit a project idea unless we've got multiple mentors to support it.
Yep.
Great. I like that.
We don't want to
That's-
drain our mentors. Yes.
Yeah, super. All right. Any questions from others on Google Summer of Code? Okay, next topic then, and we'll use this one as our concluding. Content security policy. Phase 1 is complete. The 3-month project funded by Alpha Omega released significant changes to Jenkins core and for content security policy and to 40 plus plugins, with many others that have work in progress. We've submitted the phase 2 funding request. We're looking for a response on that, and we'll see Michael Windsor of Alpha Omega, our key contact. He'll be attending the Contributor Summit, 31st of January in Brussels. Any other topics for today? All right, then let's call this done for the day. Thanks very, very much, Jan, Tim, thank you. Really cool things. Looking forward to seeing everyone in Brussels.
Thank you.
See you there.
See you there.